Did you know in the U.S. that in the last 5 years, the number of employers allowing dogs into the workplace has doubled? That means now that about 1 in every 12 employers is allowing these proud and playful pooches into the office to mingle with their workers, even as they labor away at their desks. The workers say, well, it offers them a bit of relief and lots of love.
It helps to have, kind of a way to relieve that stress. So, I mean, whether you're taking a dog out, whether you're, picking up a puppy for a couple minutes, it just makes the day go by a lot easier.
It's just less stress. If you're feeling stressed, you can just go and pet the dogs, and it makes working just happier.
And these wonderful canines, well, they seem to enjoy it too. Why wouldn't they? Look at all the attention they get, especially since their only job is to be there to provide the relaxing, fun side of the workday, and they also fetch well. Look at that. Nice catch. Well, joining us now is the boss of these less stressed out workers you just heard from, and one of the growing number of employers that are turning to pups to spread the love. She is Leslie Tane from the Tane Law Group. Welcome to the show, Leslie.
Thank you for having me.
So how did you get started allowing dogs into your office?
A couple of years ago, through the process of raising guide dogs, I started bringing the dogs to work, asked my staff how they felt about that. They said, you know what, we love the idea of having a dog here, and it just really took off from there.
Yeah, you were a volunteer with guide dogs, or?
Yes, I'm still a volunteer with the Guide Dog Foundation in Smithtown. Many of the dogs that I do bring to the office were either from the Guide Dog Foundation or are currently part of that program.
Yeah, because some dogs are suited for one role and some for another, and some have more enjoyed this, right?
Yes, and it's great socialization for the dogs as well as my staff.
Yeah, I can see you right there. Part of one of the things that I saw you were pitching is that it's good exercise. I could see you take them out for a walk, right? Do all the workers get involved in doing that?
Yes, at first it is great exercise. It's really nice to get up from a desk job all day long. I know I sit at my desk a lot, so it's nice to get out, and especially in the beautiful weather, and take some fresh air in and walk the dog. And yes, everybody does get involved, and believe it or not, there are staff members that really are the ones who want to take them out. They'll say, I want to take the dog out. Can I take it out now? So it's great for everyone.
Yeah, and the dogs, I couldn't believe it. I'm walking around and there's dogs coming in against my legs. They're going in through the desks. People are having meetings and there's dogs sitting right next to them. And it totally changes the feeling of the environment of going to work.
It definitely does. It definitely brings the stress level down, especially in our type of environment. We are a law firm and a law practice helping people with debt, so there's a high level of stress to begin with in the type of practice that we have. So the dogs definitely bring that energy level down.
Yeah, I can imagine some of the callers you must get. People are, freaked out about owing money to somebody and they turn to you for help, but you have to listen to what they're talking about. That can wear on the worker too when you get call after call like that.
No doubt it does. So it's really nice to take that call and be able to pet the dog at the same time. And my clients love it as well. They come in stressed out. We bring the dogs in. Yesterday we had a couple in who wanted to hold the puppies while we were having a conference meeting, and it was terrific.
So it's kind of good for business in a way.
In a way, I suppose it is. But it definitely helps bring that stress level down for my clients, and they just love it. I have one client who used to come and just for a puppy fix. She just comes see the dog.
Just make an appointment to come see the puppies? Oh, that's pretty funny. And I know you have a regular program of new pups coming in. Talk about that, how that works.
We do. So my volunteer process with the Guide Dog Foundation is that I take puppies right out of the nursery. They're about 6 weeks old, and I have them for about 10 days to 2 weeks. So I'm socializing them through that process. So we get them usually once a month or every 3 weeks. We get new puppies, so we bring them into the office and we have a whole routine with them, and it's a great project.
Well, I loved it. I was there doing the story. I didn't want to leave. I was like, okay, this is great. We're going to have to get that in news where we take them along with us on our stories. But there are some people who are not big fans of animals anywhere. I mean, we see the world is changing where restaurants are allowing dogs in, and but then you see some patrons that say they don't want to share the space with the animals. I would imagine that could happen in the workplace. Or what about somebody who perhaps might be allergic to a pet?
Well, when we have some of the larger dogs in, it can be intimidating. We would never bring a dog in that was aggressive in any way. They are not type of dogs that jump on anybody. So if there's somebody with an allergy, and believe it or not, I have some dog allergies, and we do have some other staff members that have some dog allergies. They just don't pet the dog on a regular basis. So we keep the office really clean and neat, and the dogs in certain spaces. So if there's somebody really with a problem, we would keep the dog away.
I didn't see anybody like that in your office, so you were fortunate in that way, but it can happen.
It can happen for sure. It's certainly manageable. And there are people who are afraid of dogs, so we do definitely take that into consideration, especially if it's a client coming into the office who might be intimidated.
Now, what do other employers say? I mean, you must know lots of other employers. When you tell them that you do this, what do they say?
You know, I get a lot of mixed reactions. Most of the reaction is good, saying, oh, that's so great, we should consider that, but I don't know that my dog is suited for the office. I often hear that. Or I don't know that my dog would be comfortable in an office environment. So I think you have to know your dog, and you have to know your office and the environment that you have in your office. We have a different kind of office. It's very collaborative, open, and we enjoy the interaction that the dogs help bring among staff members. It's almost a bonding experience.
You know, one of the things I saw in some of the info that was put out about your program there is that you think it actually improves a person's diet, too. How is that so?
Well, we definitely think it helps in the healthy arena where you're out exercising and you're starting to think about being a little bit healthier. So, and also getting out of the office, you know, it gives you the opportunity to think about, well, you know, I'm walking the dog, so I'm getting that kind of exercise. Maybe I should eat well as well. So we do, you know, in an office, you tend to eat a lot of stuff when you're sitting around, but we do belong to also a farm share, so we share a lot of fruits and vegetables, and we bring the healthy living into the workplace as well.
I think a lot of people are going to want to come work for you guys over there. What difference has it made for you as the boss?
Well, I love having the dogs there. I feel like it's long hours that I put in at the office, and you know, I love the collaborative piece that it's brought to my staff and the bonding experience that we have. And we often talk about some of the dogs that we've had in the past and where they are now. And if there's not a dog there for a few days, everyone's asking, when are the dogs going to come?
You're right. You know, I'd love to see that video again if it's at all possible. Because what were the names again of these two?
These two dogs are Norton and Ava.
Norton and Ava.
And they are siblings, and I also have their mother, who was a breeder for the guide dog. She had 17 puppies for them. So Norton and Ava were part of her first litter, and I raised Ava, the black dog, and Norton I raised for a short period of time, and then he went to somebody else and came back to me.
Norton, I love it. Well, Leslie Tane with the Tane Law Group, thanks for spreading some puppy love.
You're very welcome.
And we'll be right back.